He created the universe. To him belong the heavens and the earth. The ever-living, he is the first. He's the owner of mercy. Keep them his messengers to warn his creatures.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه ومن اتبع هداه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Chapter number 29 of Kitaab Tawheed. What is said regarding astrology? Astrology in Arabic is known as at-tanjim. At-tanjim. So you know astrology is to study the movement of the stars, these celestial bodies, and studying the locations and the positions of such celestial bodies. The Muslims, they did study the stars, but not to deduce knowledge from the stars, in the sense that the star, when it is in this particular position or location, it will have particular influence or effect on the fate of the human being. That's what Islam does not accept. Islam does not accept that, because this celestial body has nothing to do with me. What will happen to me is decided not by the star, but the creator of the star. Is this clear? By the creator of the star, he is the one who decides what will happen to me. And he knows what will happen to me. Because you know that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first thing he created was the pen. And he commanded the pen to write everything. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he knows everything about me. The star has nothing to do with me. So the title, the author is saying, what is said in Islam regarding astrology? What Islam says about this? Imam Bukhari rahimahullah recorded in his Sahih that Qatada rahimahullah said, Allah created the stars for three purposes. Number one, as ornaments of the heavens. Number two, as missiles against the devils. Number three, as signposts for the guidance of travelers. Whoever interprets otherwise is mistaken. Such a person is to lose his reward on the day of resurrection and takes upon himself that which is outside his knowledge. So Allah has created the stars for three reasons. Number one, as ornaments. As Allah said in Surah Al-Mulk, that he adorned the sky with the stars. وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَصَابِيحِ وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينِ. We have beautified the nearest heaven with the stars, lamps, masabih. Allah referred to the stars as lamps. Second thing, as missiles for the devils. Remember, the devils try to steal and listen to the angels. Because when Allah speaks about something, he informs the malaika about it. So the jinn, they try to listen to what the malaika are saying. So for that reason, Allah sends the shooting stars to prevent the jinn from listening to what the angels are saying. The third reason, Allah created the stars. So the first one, as ornaments. Second thing, shooting stars, missiles against the devils. the jinn. And the third reason, as landmarks, signposts. As Allah says in the Quran, وَعَلَامَاتٍ, the stars are used as alamat, landmarks. وَبِالنَّجْمِ, and by the star, they seek guidance. Even today, those who are working in the navies, they teach them, what if all this technology failed and you are in the middle of the ocean? How will you find your way? The whole vessel is run by computer. This computer failed. What will you do? So you should know how to find your way. So they teach them that this star, you keep it on your right, on your left, so that you can figure out your location by following the stars. So this is the third reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the stars. And there are people, mashallah, who will find their way by just following the stars. You are in the middle of the desert, surrounded by sand dunes from everywhere. They know how to find their way out. In the sea, they know how to find their way out. This is the third reason, as the signposts for the guidance. Apart from that, anyone says something else, is mistaken. Are you following? So this is how we Muslims view the stars. They are only created for these three things. But to say that I can deduce knowledge from the star, and when the star in this position or this location, this is what is going to happen to you, Islam does not approve of that. Are you following? Harb, rahimahullah, has reported that the learning of the lunar phases, to study the phases of the moon, lunar phases, because the moon keeps shifting, you know that. It's not always from the same position. It keeps shifting. And old people in the past, they keep a track of the moon. Old masjids, you see that there are marks. If you go to the roof of the masjid, you see there are marks, because they keep tracking the moon every month. So when it is month, tomorrow Ramadan, for example, old people, they know exactly where to look, because they got the experience. Today we don't know where is it. The old people, they know exactly where to look. They will come after Maghrib and they know exactly where to look. Is it there? No, there's no Ramadan tomorrow. Are you following? Why? Because they got this experience. They were always tracking the moon. Today we're not tracking the moon. Only when it comes to Ramadan or Hajj, we think about the moon. But the people in the past, no, they were always keeping the track. So if you interpret otherwise, then you are mistaken. And such a person will lose his reward on the day of resurrection. So Harb rahimahullah has reported that the learning of the lunar phases was permitted by Imam Ahmad. And you know what? Allah has linked our obligations, our ibadat, with the sun and the moon. The sun, the salawat are linked with the sun. When the day breaks, that is the Fajr. No need for the watch, no need for it. Day breaks, that is Fajr. And the end of the Fajr, when the sun rises, Dhuhr, the sun will keep moving till it reaches the middle, the meridian. How you know that the sun now is in the middle? If you put anything, it will not have shade, no shadow. That means it is 90 degrees, completely vertical, the sun. The moment the shadow starts to appear, that is dhuhr time. The beginning of the dhuhr. Are you following? No need for the clock. No need. Because this is very precise, the sun. The moment the shadow becomes equal to your length, Asr is approaching. The moment the sun sets, Asr is over. You cannot pray now. It is Maghrib. Are you following? The Maghrib time will end when the dusk, the brightness in the horizon disappeared. So the time of the Maghrib is over and Isha starts. Isha time will finish midnight. So all the 5 prayers are linked with the sun. Is this clear? My dear brothers and sisters and dear viewers, stay tuned. We'll be back inshallah after the break. My dear brothers and sisters and dear viewers, welcome back. We were discussing before the break Kitaab Tawheed, chapter number 29. Isha, when the brightness, you cannot see the brightness anymore, it is Isha time, beginning. The end of the Isha, the middle of the night, not 12 o'clock. Don't make this mistake. Midnight, because it will vary from summer to winter. How can I calculate midnight? From the moment the sun sets until it rises, how many hours? Divide by 2, that's midnight. Are you following? The night, when the night starts, when the sun sets, because we are following the lunar calendar, not the solar calendar. So the day in Arabic, when the sun sets. So when the night starts, that's the day. You know, today we are Saturday. Now we are in Saturday already. If, for instance, a child is born now, we'll say, because we want to know the aqiqah. You know the aqiqah? When you slaughter on the 7th day, so we'll say Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So the aqiqah will be on Friday. Is this clear? So the day starts when the sun sets. Now I want to know the midnight. I have to calculate what time the sun sets and what time the sun rises, and divide by 2. That's the midnight. Is this clear? The siyam with the moon. The Prophet ﷺ said, you begin your fasting when you sight the moon. And you break your fast when you sight the moon. We start fasting when we see the moon of Ramadan. And we break it when we see the moon of Sha'ban. Are you following? So that's why Imam Ahmad said it is permissible, it is okay to study the lunar phases. The lunar phases was permitted by Imam Ahmad and Ishaq. Discouraged by Qatada and prohibited by Ibn Uyayna. Qatada said there is no need to study the phases, lunar phases. What he meant, if you study the lunar phases and you think you can deduce what? Knowledge and attribute it to the events that happens to you. In that context, from that perspective, he's saying, don't study it. But if you study the lunar phases to keep the track and to know the moon and the position of the moon, that is permissible. So there's no contradiction. Because every scholar, he's talking or he's expressing his opinion from a certain perspective. Are you following? It's not clear to you? I repeat. Like for instance here, Qatada said, I don't encourage the people to study the lunar phases. Why? Because the people do that, what the people were practicing, just like the people today when they attribute things to the star. Attributing things to the stars. So because that is the motive, he said, I don't encourage you to do so. Not for someone who will be tracking the moon and the lunar phases for the salawat and for the knowing the beginning of the months. That is something recommended in the Sharia. To know the beginning of the month of Ramadan and the end of the month of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ. Whoever sees the moon should fast. Is this clear? Also, Ibn Uyayna, when he said it is haram, what did he mean by that? It is haram if you study the lunar phases to deduce knowledge and say, when the moon is in this location, what will happen to you? So he means that. So you have to understand always the statement of the scholar in the proper context, the right context. Are you following? Okay. Abu Musa radiallahu anhu said, and this hadith is Hasan hadith. It is Hasan hadith. You know now the hadith are two types, Sahih and Hasan. The Hasan, that means acceptable. The Prophet ﷺ said, ثلاثة لا يدخلون الجنة. ثلاثة لا يدخلون الجنة. مدمن خمر ومصدق بالسحر وقاطع رحم. The meaning, 3 types of people will not enter paradise. Number 1, the habitual wine drinker. Number 2, the believer in sorcery. And number 3, the one who severs blood relations. So there are 3 types of people that will not enter the Jannah. Before we elaborate on this hadith, I want you to understand the following. We have something called wa'd and something called wa'id. Repeat, wa'd and wa'id. The wa'd is the promise. The wa'id is the threat. Promise, threat. Whatever Allah promised will happen. Inna Allah la yukhliful mi'ad. Allah will keep his promise. But the wa'id, the threat, not necessarily. Allah can threaten you. He can threaten you, but he can forgive. Why? Because he is the most kind. We'll give this example. I have a child. Your son is driving you crazy. Undutiful child. Boy, he made you angry. So you wanted to beat him. But the boy ran away. And you said, if I catch you, I will break your neck. As a father, you are angry, said, if I catch you, I will break your neck. But the boy ran away. When you cooled down, the boy came back. And if the boy was late, you'll start to get worried about him, right? Oh my God, what happened to my son? Though you said what? You will break his neck, but now you are worried. Are you following? Because you were threatening the child. Now you cooled down, he came back. He didn't do anything. Assume that someone heard you saying so, right? That if I catch you, I will break your neck. And now the boy came back. And he said, he's there. Do it. Break his neck. What you will say? You fool. This is my son. You want me to break his neck? I was angry, right? I was only threatening the boy, right? Will there anyone blame you because you didn't punish the boy? No one. Because everyone knows this is the rahmah of the father. This is the parental mercy, right? No one knows that. How about Allah? Are you following? Allah, the most kind, who loves us more than our mothers. Allah can threaten and can also forgive. So this hadith, is it wa'ad or wa'id? Is it the promise or the threat? Threat. It is the threat. So always keep this in mind. So when Allah is threatening, that's up to him. My dear brothers and sisters and dear viewers, we'll be covering chapter number 29 of Kitaab Tawheed in the coming episode. Looking forward to seeing you. Till we meet you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
He created the universe. To him belong the heavens and the earth. The ever-living, he is the first. He's the owner of mercy. He sent his messengers to warn his creatures.